And once again, it's Saturday, February 28th. This is GrokTALK, a production of GrokTALK.com, New Hampshire's leading conservative libertarian blog site. And we are thankful to CNHT, the Coalition of New Hampshire Taxpayers, for giving us this area that we can broadcast to you pretty much every single Saturday, given weather, sickness, and equipment malfunctions. But we are glad to have you here. I'm Skip. That's Mike sitting in the TV in a box seat.
Absolutely.
And we have Steve, who normally sits where I'm sitting right now, reporting live from CPAC. Good morning, Steve.
And we've all shifted right one seat, and it's Steve's turn to be out the door and phoning it in. But Steve's somewhere real good. He's at CPAC.
I am in National Harbor, Maryland, in this rather hellacious hotel whose name starts with a G, and I don't know the name of it because it's not posted anywhere, which is awfully modest of them, but it is a gorgeous place. And I'm at CPAC. Guy Tomswa is here with his wife Barbara. Jane Cormier is here with her husband. A couple other folks from New Hampshire. We all took a bus down on Thursday. Long, boring, tired bus trip, and we'll be heading back tonight. But we're here today for our second day. We were here all day yesterday and had the full, basically, I want to say 10 hours we were here for speeches and activities and booths.
And look out for other New Hampshireites. You're probably going to find Diane Bitter down there. I know Andrew Hemingway in a car full of partiers, at least that's the way it sounded, drove down there as well.
There are other folks here. I know that I ran into Alan Kolb yesterday.
Oh, cool.
And, there are other people here I haven't seen. Andrew, I know somebody told me he was here. I'm going to go downstairs to the hub where all the booths are and see if I can find a few more folks after I get off the phone with you guys, because I didn't really spend enough time down there.
And don't forget to troll the exhibits when you get a chance. You may find some very interesting people or organizations. It's where I've run into a few of the folks that we now stay in contact with.
Well, hey, Republicans for legalizing marijuana is down there, so who knows?
Yeah. Now, have you had a chance to hit Bloggers Row and Radio Row?
I have walked past Radio Row a few times because it's right outside the main hall where all the speeches are. All the usual, suspects are there, and I don't really intend to talk to anybody, but there's lots of lines. They have a straw poll that they're doing, and this morning is the first time that I've actually seen, and the lines aren't like 10 people deep to fill it out. So I'll probably try to do that this morning.
Nice.
And I will go back downstairs and talk to people at booths. I know the NRA is down there, and of course other gun groups, and all the conservative groups. Heritage is down there. Hillsdale College, of course. They have book signings and things. So it's a great event. If you want to come down here in the future, my recommendation would be that you don't do it last minute like I did it, but that you plan ahead and that you give yourself a good schedule and make sure you can get yourself in places. Like if you want to do things with media and you want to be involved with the bloggers and stuff, to plan ahead so you can show up for those events that they have that are usually in the evening. I didn't attend any of those because I was so burned out when I got down here, but there's a lot of opportunity to meet people. I did meet my editor with the Franklin Center. He was down here. I got a chance to talk to him for a few minutes. So there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of people here, a lot of activists. It's a great place to come and connect. And
did you find Pete and Jimmy, the tech guy, down there yet?
I know he's here. I haven't seen him.
Yeah, probably Bloggers Row.
Yeah. I'll have to go back down there and see if I can find him. It's all, it's in the back of the main speaking area, and there's literally table after table after table of guys sitting at laptops and girls sitting at laptops. So
I bet.
Back there. So I'd have to go through and look for him and go, hey, Pete.
Now, what's the overall mood? How is the tenor of the audience? Are they upbeat, downcast, split between the establishment versus the conservative libertarians? Give us a description of how people are reacting.
People are, I don't know. It's a good mood. People are excited to be here. A lot of the speeches are very, they bring up Hillary Clinton a lot. They talk about ISIS a lot. I think those are two topics that everybody seems to want to touch on. Clearly, the economy. So the general consensus is that, 2014 was nice, but it doesn't really mean anything if we don't get the presidency. And, there's a lot of people down here. Nobody will admit that they're running, but clearly they're all here because they're planning to. So
Yeah,
Right.
and it's not so much it doesn't count for anything if we don't get the presidency. It doesn't count for anything unless they stand for something.
Well, that's true, and of course it's CPAC. So while it is a conservative conference, this attracts activists and politicians across the spectrum, and everybody's going to pitch to the conservative voice, even though there's people who say that CPAC and the ACU isn't as conservative as it should be.
Now, question for you. Have you heard anybody talking about what's been going on with the Senate and the House this week? Because last night they gave a 1 week extension to full funding for DHS. Certainly McConnell has had the Senate cave to the Democrats. It looks like Harry Reid's still running the Senate. And now Reid is also threatening Boehner. So you're seeing an Alinsky move against the Republicans still, even though they own the majorities in both houses. Has anybody talked about that today?
I think it's come up, maybe not yet this morning, but you talk to people, and the general consensus here, at least of the people that I've talked to and listened to, is that it's important to block obnoxious, ridiculous, let's just keep funding everything bills. I think that people are against the immigration executive order, having that all tied up with DHS spending or whatever gymnastics they want to do. They want it to stop. They want people to stop and look at it and go, all right, this is crazy spending. It doesn't make sense. Let's take a mature approach about it. Some things have to get cut. We don't need to spend all this money on all these things all the time. And I don't think people were really not happy with any passage of that funding bill in the way that it came down. I think they're a little bit happier that it's been blocked temporarily, even though they funded it for a week. And I think everybody understands that at some point it's just a question of negotiating how they're going to cave, not if they're going to cave.
So any blowback against the Republicans for all campaigning on this issue of stopping this unconstitutional action? And now they're seeing the leaders who loudly proclaimed that they would stop Obama. Basically, here you are on a silver platter.
Well, that's to people. It's disappointing. You send folks down to D.C. and you say, "Look," and they run on. We're going to stop this. We're going to stop this, and then it's business as usual. So
this is why you see the interest in the 10th Amendment movement, and why you see actual talk of maybe half the states thinking of seceding from the Union, because they frankly just had it with trying to send their representatives to D.C. and anything actually changing.
Well, that's just it. We're right outside D.C., so a lot of people from D.C. are here, and a lot of these people, their bread is buttered by the federal behemoth. So, but they would like to see a little bit. You got to wonder. I mean, how many people are just here looking to get a seat at the table? How many people are here just trying to get that voice heard? If they really expect any change at all? So, it's interesting. There's a lot of young people. A lot of them are from around the D.C. area. Obviously, there's people here from all 50 states. But I wonder, when I come to these things, I wonder what their expectations are. And I'm not going to talk to all of them, of course. I'll talk to a handful, and you can't really use that as your litmus. But I continue to go right along with what Susan says. Save New Hampshire, screw D.C., or if you want to reverse that, screw D.C., save New Hampshire. I think that these people need to take the things that they learn and they hear back to their states and work locally to make change there.
Well, that sounds, I think we all agree with that here, because in this state of New Hampshire, we certainly have the ability to change the tenor of what's going on. But as I keep seeing over the years, what happens in D.C. is happening here in Concord. And we see the dysfunction of the Republican Party once again down there, and we see it up here with the speaker's race. Anybody, with the folks that you've talked to, have you asked them about how their state is going and whether or not we're experiencing the same thing as they are, or are they having more success?
I haven't really talked to anybody about what's going on in their state. I think, from where we're sitting, it looks like they're having more luck than we are. Just looking at it from New Hampshire, just because of the fact that we know what's going on in our House and our Senate, and we know that they work together to make sure they had a rhino majority, and we know that their plan all along was to make sure Medicaid expansion would continue to survive, and they really kind of drove a lot of that inside baseball that resulted in Jasper becoming the speaker. They're protecting their monopoly on power and their connections to the federal government. I think a lot of states, you're going to have that. I haven't talked to anybody specifically about what's going on in their state legislatures. Not even entirely sure how many of these people are really that connected locally, but I get the sense just from the few people that I've talked to that I mean, they don't know about our situation. They don't know how we got screwed over by the rhino. So I would be interested to hear that, though.
Yeah, see if you can find any of the bloggers from Iowa. Also, see if Joe Miller is.
There, so
yeah. See if Joe Miller from Alaska has come down. Since he's not running for anything right now, I suspect not. But he's also got his own radio show these days.
Yeah, he might be here someplace. Actually, you could probably check his Twitter feed or check his check his blog.
So what are you looking forward to seeing or listening to today, Steve?
I don't know. They haven't really updated the schedule for speakers today. Like I said, I'm going to go down to the hub and poke around and talk to some folks at the booth. And, we're only here till about 11:30, quarter to 12. We have to get back on the bus because it's a 10, 12-hour trip. And so we want to get back before midnight. So I'm really only here for half a day today. But I'll see who the speakers are once they get the schedule updated, and I'll go listen to a few. Because, if you turn that picture upside down, it's a gorgeous room. It really is a great experience to be here. I think that, if you have a bucket list, and I don't have one, but if I had it, I could check this off because it's just kind of fun.
Well, it sounds like you are having fun. So enjoy yourself in that basically big bathtub of politics on the conservative side. And say hi to the folks in New Hampshire that you come out. And I hope that on the way home you might be able to interview some of the folks who came down with you on the bus and say, hey, what did you get out of this and did it meet your expectations? And
although I haven't slept really well for 3 days, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, the other thing is if they want, let's do a radio show with those folks, bring them in, we'll put a mic on a boom and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you never know. That's what we do.
Indeed, that is what we do.
And you could start planning for 2020. We could probably come down here and try to get in and do some interviews when New Hampshire will be relevant again. So.
I think we need to plan for that. I really do. First in the nation primary state, at least right now, we should be able to get a bunch of folks walking through, and we'll see what happens. But
yeah, I think we need to plan for the big events. By the way, Right Online is back this year, so we might want to see about how we get a presence at it.
Oh, that's true. Gosh, there's too many things and not enough money and time.
That's true. It's money and time, man.
That's right. And the airlines just keep making it harder and harder to schlep all the stuff around, I'll tell you.
I know. You got to ship it.
Well, if it's not too far, the thing to do is to rent a van and do a road trip.
No, screw the van. Get an RV.
Well, yeah.
Come on, guys. We want to be able to be nice and comfortable.
I'll ride shotgun as long as it's an actual shotgun.
Not running through New York, we're not going to.
Not Massachusetts, and not New York, not Connecticut, not, I don't know, most of those states. So.
Shall require the chief of state police to negotiate reciprocal licenses with other states.
There you go.
Yeah, well, listen, we got to go. We got to take a break. We're going to have Jorge Mesa Tejada on his educational update, and we also have coming up pretty soon Max Abramson with criminal justice update, as he has in a couple past weeks ago. We're also going to have Representative Josh Moore come on to talk about that technical notification from New Hampshire Commissioner, Department of Education, basically saying parents have no rights at all. That will be a very interesting discussion. And of course, our Whiskey Tango Foxtrot moment of the day. And I'm already nominating Timothy Horrigan for the stupidest comment so far I've seen from him. So Steve, I want to say thanks a lot for coming on short notice, and we'll see you next week.
All right, take it easy.
All right. Folks, we're going to take a short breaks here, and we will be back in just a couple of moments, again with Jorge Mesa Tejada. We'll be back.
GrokTV.